Hi you guys, I am going to do this quick video about something that I have been thinking about a lot lately and decided to kind of speak on it so that we can all kind of gain understanding and clarity about what we have going on in our minds and the way that we think and process things, and even something that can be very simple. I was up one night doing homework. I'm in school, and I spend most of my nights studying and writing papers. And we all know that at nighttime most of these infomercials come on, and they're always talking about the majority of them are talking about weight loss and how we can lose weight and how we can go from being fat to skinny with pills and exercise. And they always use this word total transformation. Now when I hear that word total transformation, it is often associated with, one's body image, showing the then and now of how the physical appearance of one leg, arm, stomach, back once was and where it is now. For example, you may once had flabby arms, and because you exercise and work out, now you can see your triceps and biceps. Your stomach, used to hang over your pants, and now that you have a six-pack, and legs that were once noodles, are now popping. In addition, it goes even further to like with hair. We once had brittle and weak hair, and now it's long and full, and our teeth was once chipped and cracked, and now it's it's pearly white. It looks brand new. Even to our clothing, one used to wear some old-fashioned ripped smelly clothes that used to be someone's trash, and it's now your treasure, and all of a sudden now you're like wearing the latest trends, the latest fashion. And the way that the world sees it when we look at that's what we look at as total transformation. So as I kept looking at this and I'm thinking about that word total transformation, I sat down and I began to think of the word total, and I asked myself, well, what does that word really mean? So being the person that I am, and Google is right there, I looked it up. And when I looked up the word total, it meant complete, whole, absolute, entirety. Okay, well, great. Well, let me examine the next word, which is transformation, which is a dramatic change from one appearance to another. So being the inquisitive person that I am, I often find myself in conversations, and I would find myself conversating with God. So if you ever see me talking to myself, just know that I'm just having a little talk with God. That's all. So I asked God, and I said, so if you ever see me, like I said, doing those type of things, please don't think I'm crazy. It's just a little conversation with God. So I said, God, it seems like we have it wrong. It seems that if we once were out of shape and we commit to working out, clean eating and not snacking, no sodas, lean meats, fruits, vegetables, all that good stuff, then we would soon see our bodies transform. It seems like if we go to our barbers and hairstylists, that in a matter of hours, well, for me and for us, seems like for days, sitting under that dry all day, it just takes forever. But within that moment, we can be transformed to what once was our appearance to what we look now. And it's the outer appearance. So I said, so we can transform ourselves that way. Even with our clothes, we can upgrade, get new designer fashion and something that's very nice and costly versus to something that's cheap and raggedy looking. We can change those things. We can transform ourselves. But just taking that definition, I'm like, is that really truly what total transformation is? Just cleaning up the outer man, just cleaning up the outer appearance, what people see, our hair, our makeup, our clothes, you know, the way that we dress, our jewelry, our accessories. Is that what total transformation is? Surely it has to be more than just the superficial, tangible things that we do to ourselves to look and feel better only on the outside. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe in having a healthy lifestyle and eating the right thing and exercising. It does show, you know, studies have shown that if we know we do these things and have a healthy lifestyle, that we can eliminate certain illnesses such as diabetes, hypertension, etc., especially in the African American community. You know, I've worked even, you know, with our appearance. I worked in corporate America for 12 years, and in the beginning, I never understood why did I have to wear, you know, business casual clothing if I'm going to be sitting behind a desk all day answering phones, servicing clients. But, you know, later I began to understand and also experience that, you know, when you do dress up and you do look better, you know, you perform good, so you do better. So I'm not against healthy living or wanting to look your best. So asking a question is cleaning up the outer man is what total transformation is. And I'm just sitting here, you know, in this conversation with God, and it was just like, it just felt silent. Of course I knew the answer, and then I think that sometimes that's how God does us. You know, we ask questions and he just sits in silence because he wants us to use the wisdom that he has already given us to answer our own question. So you know, it can't be just cleaning up the outer man to appease what others would think of us just by having something new. And so, you know, I found out that, you know, that can't be true, you know. So just taking that information, I said, well, clearly it has to be more to this. And it was. It is clear to me that total transformation, we must do more than just work out in the gym or park at the park, you know, 5 or 6 times a week. We must do more than eat lean meats and drink water and, you know, dress in this Tom Ford and polo and red bottom Coach pack bags and sporting a latest hairstyle. You know, we have to do more, because that's not total transformation. Total transformation does not start with your outer appearance. Total transformation does not start with how you look or perceive to look to others. You know, we have to understand that it's deeper than this. So taking that meaning of what total transformation is, I said, well, how dare we say that we have done total transformation to the outer man and looking like a god or a goddess, but the mind, our way of thinking, our heart, our soul, displays a characteristic of someone who is mean and jealous and envious, pretty much the devil himself. How dare we say we've been through total transformation? We walk past those we know who are in need, and we turn our nose clearly. We see, you know, our sisters, you know, struggling and trying to make ends meet, and here we are sitting on a fortune, and we won't even offer nothing, not even an avenue that he or she can take to provide resources to get help. You know, we have our brothers out here, our men are getting locked up every day from bad choices they made growing up, from broken homes and fatherless homes around, and no one's there. The father, a man in his life, is not there to validate him as a man, and to show him that, hey, you know, you don't have to do this, you don't have to go this way, you can do better, you know, greatness is in you, you know. But we want to say that we've been through total transformation with our outer man looking at like a god or a goddess, but the inner man, our soul, our mind, does not line up with what God says. You know, our young girls are having babies and promiscuous and fast, loose, you know, so we want to call them. But we mistake that, and we want to turn our nose up at her, and we want to look down upon her and saying that, oh, she's less than, and she deserves what she gets, she should know better, when we really dig deep and understand that that woman is lacking something. She needs something. She needs to be validated. She needs a hug. She needs love. She needs a void that needs to be filled. But we want to say that we've been through total transformation, and we're that person, we're that woman, we're that man. But we look down upon those who are less than and are trying to get their life right, and who are struggling or just don't have someone to mentor to them. You know, how dare we say that we've been through total transformation, and we really haven't. All we do is just dress up the outer man when the inside of us, our mind, the way that we think is evil. And it just brings me, you know, to the scripture of Romans 12:2. You know, God is telling us that if we don't change our thinking and transfer our old ways into his ways, the way of thinking, then you have not gone through total transformation. The only thing you did was polished up a frame to give an illusion that you are complete, but only few people know how you really are, how your mind works. So what's the point in dressing up this outer person when the core of who we are is filthy? It's filled with strife, jealousy, envy, who have a superiority complex, that think that they're better than someone else. Total transformation does not start with the outer appearance. It starts with the renewing of your mind. You may as well know that no matter how good you look on the outside, if your character, if your thought process is not right, then everything else is useless. Now, to me, and how I see it, is that total transformation comes from changing our mind. Let this mind that's in Christ Jesus, you know, be also in us. How would he say this? How would he think? How would he feel? How would he treat others? That, to me, is what I would say total transformation starts with. And as beautiful as you are on the outside, and as handsome as you are on the outside, it serves no purpose if you're walking around bitter, angry, hurt, distraught, hateful on the inside, and it's being projected onto others how you really are. But the good news is that it's not too late for any of us to get this thing together, you know, even myself. And there's some few steps that I want to tell you about, so that we can get this total transformation correct. The first step is that we need to pray. We need to confess to God that there are some things and ways that we got going on within us that we need help with, that are very challenging to us, and that we want to change. It could be a bad attitude, you know, prideful, jealousy, hate, envy, hurt, brokenness, pain, defeat, whatever it is. Ask God to loose those shackles from you. God does not want us to be slaves to those things that he has already set us free when he died for us on the cross. You have to look that thing in the eye and be like, you know, it's a lie. You don't have to believe that. And the next thing is, the step 2, is to get in his word. Study the scripture, meditate on his word. By doing this, everything that comes up in your life that is against you, that says the opposite of what God says, the word can cast that thing down. The enemy will not tell you that you can't. You know, actually he will tell you that you can't do something, and, oh, you know, just stay over here, you know, you don't do this, don't do that. But if you're into that word, you know, it says in 2 Timothy 1:7, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a power of love and a sound mind. That means you have peace and you don't have to walk around in fear anymore. But if we don't get in that word, we'll never know. We'll never know because we don't have any weapon to come up against. This word is a weapon. We don't have anything to come up against to strike down that thought that is trying to be embedded in our head and will soon manifest, because fear will keep us stuck. Fear will keep us from not being able to fulfill our total purpose in life and in our not our occupation but our purpose, because you have let the enemy feed these things in your mind that now have become a slave. You have become a slave to the enemy and you're not free in God. He wants us to be free. This word is not just a word, it is our weapon. I never understood, what my mom and dad used to say when they would tell, me and my siblings that, you better know God for yourself and depend on Him, because we're not going to be here forever. That means that I had to set some time away where it was just me and God, reading His word, praising His name, worshiping Him for who He is, not so much of what He can do, but just for who He is. And who is He? For me, He's my rock, my fortress, my lily of the valley, my friend, my love, my mentor, my comforter, my way maker, my healer, my deliverer. He is everything to me. So the first thing we need to do is to pray. That's having that divine conversation with you and God. To pray. Be honest. Be open. God already knows anyway. He just wants you to confess it with your mouth, so that He can come in and you invite Him in and be like, okay, that thing that's hurting you, let me heal you. Let me show you how to do that. And how do we do this? And that's step 2, reading His word. That's our roadmap in life. That's the thing that's going to structure us and keep us sane and keep us on the way that we need to go. Now that we have these 2 things, and the third thing we need to do is we need to open our mouths and we need to begin to speak. Words are very powerful and they hold meaning. The words can cause things to shift and move in our lives. In Genesis 1:3, it says, and God said, those are words, let there be light, and there were light. And I know you may be saying that, well, I'm not God, so maybe that doesn't apply to us. And I beg to differ. Because in Genesis 1:27 it reads, so God created mankind in His own image. So if we just sit here and think about this thing, so if I am created in His image and I have then inherited some of His ways, and many of His gifts and quality. His DNA runs in me. I am created in Him. I am Him. Just the way that if I have birthed a child, he or she may have some of my characteristic traits or qualities or how I look. They're not physically me, but they are a part of me. So I may be a great singer, and who knows, my daughter can sing, and her daughter may can sing. These are things that's passed on. So if I'm created in God's image, that means that I have the authority to speak to these mountains and they'll be removed. I have the authority to be able to hold myself up when I feel like I'm down. I have the authority to speak life over these dead situations. And another scripture is Luke 10:19 says, I have given you the authority, just power, to trample on snakes and scorpions and to overcome all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you. So taking what I know to be true in His word, God is telling us to speak to those things that have us mentally and spiritually bound. God has given us the authority to speak the word. No more depression. No more low self-esteem. No more living paycheck to paycheck. No more sickness, no more pain, no more heartache, no more hurt, no more being disappointed. Speak it into existence. Speak it into the atmosphere. I will not be tempted to do wrong. I will not cuss him or her out. I will not belittle myself anymore. I would not compare myself to those around me. I would not let them take advantage of me. I tell my kids every morning, you will be obedient. You are great. You are powerful. You are smart. These are the things that I'm speaking into their lives. These are the things that's going to hold them up. You know, and I tell them, you know, you will be somebody in life. You will not, tell my son, you know, you are a king. You will not be a man. You are a man of God. You will not be a statistic. You will not. I am speaking those things. God has given me the authority to speak life into him, to speak these things into the atmosphere, to speak it into existence. And I am, and it is a shame that God has given us power as such as words, you know, to speak to mountains in our life, but yet we still, you know, stay silent. Speak those things. Speak, speak, speak. Use your word. Let your voice cry out. Let it be loud as a trumpet. Speak to those things. You can change that. You can change the way that you think. You can change your depression, the way that you feel anxiety and hurt and pain and harm and that void. You can speak to that thing. You don't have to just lay there dormant and just live life being hurt and painful. God came that we may have life and more abundantly. It's the enemy that comes and try to steal that and plant these unhealthy seeds in our body. But if we don't get in that word and know what the word says to go up against it, which is our weapon to fight this thing, then we're going to ever be in bondage. And we're going to be sitting there and thinking about all the coulda, shoulda, wouldas when it's too late. So I encourage you to speak. Speak to those things that have you bondage. Speak with conviction and authority. You have that power. You're created in his image. The spirit that said, let there be light. You can speak to that mountain and say, let this mountain be removed. Speak over your finances, your health, your children, your husband, your wife. Speak with authority and conviction, and stand with the expectation that God will do what he says and keep his word. If it's in alignment with his will, it will come to pass. Now, so now we know that total transformation, does not start with the outer man. You know, it does not start with the way that we look. It does not start with how we dress. To walk around clean on the outside, but broken, busted and beaten on the inside. That's not total transformation. Total transformation starts with renewing your mind, because once you renew your mind and renew your mind, you'll begin to see these things manifest. You'll begin to want to walk with confidence with your head held high. You're going to begin to want to dress differently. And then so now that we have a complete self, my mind has changed. My way of thinking has changed. These things that had me bound, I've spoken to them, and they're now released. They're removed. So now I can, dress up and put on the whole armor of God and the smile that he's given me, and these clothes and this hair and working out and eating good. Now everything is coming total. The total package, the entirety. You are not your hips and your thighs and your butt, your biceps, your triceps, your abs, your hair. That is only the outer shell of who you are. But the true person lies within you. So I urge you that if we want to do a true total transformation, we must. It is imperative that you start by renewing your mind. Well, that's my time. I love you. Stay blessed. And remember, change your mind, renew yourself. You deserve it.